All right, so after that false start, as you guys know, I don't know how to start the podcast, so it'll either be 5 minutes of a recording that apparently is unusable, and then we'll come back and do it again, or something along the lines of Welcome Late to the Movies. It's a podcast where my friends and I get to fill in our movie blind spots. Each week, we'll pick a movie that either I or a guest hadn't seen before and really should have by now. My name's Ben Holt. My guest this week, left to right across your podcast style, once again, we got Cory.
Hey.
Noah.
Hey again.
And Pat.
Hey.
Hey. The movie. The movie this week, much like the last time that at least some of us were in your house, if not necessarily on the recording for The Departed, that was for Oscar winners. This month, we're doing Oscar Best Picture nominees for the current, as of out of date as of a few hours ago, but whatever, we're still doing it as of the 95th Oscars. All that to say, this week is Everything Everywhere All at Once. The movie, not the concept, before someone does that joke. One of us is a dad now, so I got to just preempt any kind of joke like that.
Wait, one of you guys is a dad too?
You weren't last time you were on
I wasn't.
the podcast.
Oh.
That's crazy.
Congrats to Pat.
Yeah, that was still... Chrissy was pregnant, though, I think, if it was last March.
Yeah. And depending on what part of the month it was pre or post announcement. I don't remember.
People might not have known.
Right.
Pre your birthday. If
Yeah,
you want to be specific.
right, yeah, something like that. So this week, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Excited to talk about it. Something that we all liked. A few of us went to see together almost a full year ago at the end of March 2022.
Twice.
Yeah, and then another time after that. And then earlier this week, a third time for me, although that was not in theaters. But hey, good movie. We liked it.
Yep, top 10 favorite movies now.
That's great.
It's been added to my list.
Yeah. Bet you like it too.
I liked it. I would say when I first watched it, I was like super high on the movie, and I'm still very high on the movie, but I feel like I've cooled off just a tiny bit. Like I like it still a lot.
Good.
It's still my favorite movie of the year, but
Cool.
I agree with that. 2022 favorite movie.
Yeah. That's good. It would be a lot faster of a podcast if that's all we did, but
all right, that's it.
There's a lot. Yeah, you need to drive home. It's
great.
It's a pretty far
Good
away
movie
too. But let's talk about some other stuff. Anything you guys been watching lately that's been good, worth noting, worth mentioning? Anything?
Yes, I watched Barry recently, and it's a show about a hitman who wants to be an actor, and it's a very good
Spoilers.
show. That's not a spoiler.
I didn't know that.
So that doesn't happen until 20 minutes into episode 1.
And it's a very good show. There's a lot of situations in the show where you're like, how the fuck are the writers going to write their way out of this? Like, it just seems like the characters can't come back from this moment. And then they always come back, and it's, just a very entertaining show. I'd recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Bill Hader is I guess he's directed some of the episodes now, but he's also the star. And he's really good. I don't remember the actress's name. That's like the main...
His girlfriend at some point. Is the love interest.
She's awesome. I don't think I've seen her in like anything else.
She's
but
super good.
She's really good in that show. You guys watch anything recently?
I don't think I've watched anything.
All right, cool. That's fun.
Oh, wait.
Gets us to the movie
I
faster.
Ant-Man 3.
Oh yeah, I forgot we watched that.
Quantumania.
Yeah, saw it in theaters.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
Wow.
It was fine. Just like every other Marvel movie for the most part.
Why did you go see it if you feel that way about Marvel movies?
I went to hang out with the boys.
Yeah.
And it was like, there was action. It was kind of funny. I saw the second one. That's the only reason why. Any movie in IMAX is like somewhat entertaining usually.
That's true. Noah, you seen anything?
I've been watching a lot of D&D shows.
That counts.
Yeah,
We've done like
20.
YouTube videos in this part of the recap before.
What's a
Cool.
D&D show?
It's a show where people play Dungeons and Dragons.
Is it a show?
Yeah, it's a show.
Or is it just people recording their Dungeons and Dragons sessions?
I mean,
What do you
a
mean?
show is just
What
people
are
are
you
recording
trying to say,
and
man?
do stuff.
No, Dimension 20. I started watching.
No, I was
Critical
wondering if
Role.
it's scripted.
No, it's they come up with it on the spot.
Except for one person.
Well, the dungeon master, but the characters can take it in any direction. It's been really good. Yeah, it's cool.
I've never gotten into Dimension 20, but not because I hate them or anything. I just haven't really tried. But I'm sure I
to
would.
get you guys.
Yeah.
I remember
sure I
posting
would.
videos, be like, "This is great."
Yeah, but you'd like it a lot. That's
Yeah, I probably would.
I think Robbie originally recommended it, or I think we had watched an episode at his house.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to start, go with Fantasy High. It's a great intro, and
Okay.
I love the cast. I think they're hilarious.
Yeah, it's tough stuff like that where it's like, oh, they've been doing it for so long that there's, it's hard to pick a starting point. So that's helpful to.
Yeah,
The DM is one of the guys from College Humor.
Brendan Lee Mulligan.
Yeah, this whole month we're kind of foregoing the premise just because they're new movies, so all of us hadn't seen it. But this is the one that's like, well, I guess we did see it a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to get in the same thing. But how long ago did you watch it? I think we're transitioning to the movie.
A week?
Now. Okay, yeah. So you definitely count.
That's fresh.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You guys
Fresh
haven't
blood.
rewatched it recently? Corey and
No,
I
honestly, I thought
plan
it was a
to.
few months ago. Until Ben said that, I was like, oh.
I think the Columbus show was not like that soon after. I think it was a bit after,
Oh, okay.
So
that
maybe-
would make sense.
but not more than like a month or two.
I haven't seen it since we had originally seen it, so it's been a long time.
When was
for
your
me.
rewatch, Ben?
A week ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we're in the.
I listened to
Same.
a bunch of YouTube videos, though,
Yeah, that counts.
talking about it.
There's a lot. I mean, it's really connected with, especially people our age. It's made by people our age, even though it stars Michelle Yeoh, who's this person that's been around since we were kids, and even before that, when her work in Hong Kong was before any of us were alive. Let's get into the movie. What a great transition. Yeah, any of us are sort of eligible to say a 1 minute plot summary since it's relatively new to all of us. Anyone want to give it a try?
That's this movie with a 1 minute plot summary.
Yeah, you saw it the most recently. You
Yeah,
wanna
I
give it a
can try. I'm just trying to think if I can do 1 minute. I'll do my best.
That's part of the challenge.
I got to reference the IMDb page just because I'm so bad at the names and movies.
Cheating.
No, I'm not going to.
That's-
Not gonna
you
read
only-
the description.
You only get 40
A
seconds.
middle-aged
Yeah, this
Chinese
is plot
immigrant
summary.
is swept up in an insane no. It's about a Chinese family living in America, and the opening conflict in the movie is that they're clearly having problems with the IRS. They're being audited at their laundromat business, and there's a lot of receipts that are not adding up. The auditor is pushing the family really hard and threatening to charge them with serious crimes around tax fraud. And while the main character, played by Michelle Yeoh, Evelyn, is meeting with, is Jamie Lee Curtis's character's name is pronounced Deidre?
Deirdre? Yep.
Deidre. Okay. When Michelle Yeoh's character,
15
Evelyn,
seconds.
is meeting with Deidre.
It's only gotten through the first.
I told you it would be hard for me.
It is.
Plugs,
It's
bagels,
tough.
done.
It
10
is tough.
seconds.
Her husband's body is taken over by a character from another dimension. And so Wayman speaks to her and he talks about, these alternate universes, and like any normal person from our dimension, she didn't believe it. She thought everything going on was crazy. She was losing her mind. And then eventually she slowly starts to buy into some of the wacky things that he's telling her to do. And it just leads her through kind of a life-altering adventure where she realizes some things about herself and her family, and how some of the moral implications of her actions have affected the people around her. And, there's a positive message in the end. So the end, that's my summary.
Yeah, you got it.
Nice.
That's basically what happens in the movie. But like you were, referring to, there are quite a bit of other things that are going on at all times. The movie's operating on many tracks at once, especially once you get into like the third act, and it's sort of actions happening across multiple versions of the characters' existences. But still, pretty
Masterfully
interesting.
done.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So, Michelle Yeoh, what was anyone's sort of relationship with her? Had you guys seen
met
at
her.
least like? Yeah, I've never met her either, but I guess we would have been 10, 12 around there when Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon came out.
I've seen that movie.
Maybe even younger.
Mm-hmm.
She's awesome in that. I
Crazy
think.
Rich Asian.
Yeah, I was gonna say Crazy Rich Asians. I guess is the most recent thing before this.
Yeah. I saw
she's
that in
really good
theaters.
in. Yeah. She's awesome in that
It
too.
was good. Yeah, really good.
Clips of her from that red carpet are in this movie.
Oh, no way. That's
Yeah.
what those scenes are from?
You can see,
that.
like it says Crazy Rich Asians on one of the backdrops.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I think in America, at least, she had never been in a starring role in a movie. She's been a lot of times a supporting role or like a second lead. But as the top bill, the centerpiece on the poster of the movie, this is really the first one. And it's something that she's talked a lot about and got like pretty emotional about, like, oh, it feels like it's finally happening for her, even at this stage of her life. And yeah, she's fucking awesome in this movie. It's great. She holds the whole thing together.
Yeah, I didn't know her at all before this movie. And
Oh, cool.
And it's sad because it only lasted like 2 days until I saw Tar. But I was like, wow, she's definitely the best actress of the year. She absolutely has to win the award, the best actress nominee. And I still kind of hope she does from an emotional standpoint. But I would say I no longer feel that she is the standout acting performance of the year as far as female actors go.
Yeah, I firmly have to agree with you there.
What movie is it?
Tar with Cate Blanchett. And it's tough because it seems like most years it'd be a pretty easy win for Michelle Yeoh. Like, I don't know if it. Did you even watch the movie that Jessica Chastain won for last year?
No.
Well, see, there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Michelle Yeoh's great in this. Kwan is her husband, Waymond. Definitely have a movie watching relationship with him because he was a little kid in Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, and one of the little kids in Goonies. And then took a really long time off of acting.
Right?
Data, I want to say.
Data?
Something, yeah, basically you're there. And then couldn't get hired for like 20 years, started working behind the camera, and this is sort of his big comeback. And yeah, what a comeback. He's great in this too. He's got a pretty tough job switching between the versions of Waymond and
Yeah, he was awesome.
the actual stunt work that I think he's doing, at least some of the stunts himself. He did some stunt coordinating, so I think he has the ability to.
He crushed it for his first movie in like 20 years.
Basically,
yeah.
It's pretty insane. The guys that made this movie, Daniels, some people think it's annoying that they call themselves Daniels, not the Daniels.
That is annoying.
Yeah.
I'm some
He's one
people.
of those people.
I felt like you might be. Daniel Scheinert and Daniel Kwan.
Who were both in the movie.
They are both in the movie, yeah.
Is that one of your
Didn't know
fun
that.
facts?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it. I was like waiting for him to say Daniels. I know they're in the movie.
Yep, they play well. The Daniel Scheinert's like the S&M guy.
Oh, nice.
The really tall, bald guy who, yeah. Yeah, I remember that scene.
And Daniel Kwan's one of the people that gets sucked into the bagel kind of towards the end.
Yep. He's in another scene too.
What are they saying?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I just remember there was one more. He was in the background.
fun fact guy.
Yeah, I had the original fact, not the details. I'm not a details guy.
Yeah.
That's what Ben's here for.
Yeah. I guess I'm setting the stage for what everyone was doing before this movie now. It wasn't really on purpose, but we're in it now. I can't stop. They're, as a collaboration, Daniels had a feature film before this called Swiss Army Man. And you guys see that?
No.
No, I didn't see
No,
that
I saw
either.
clips from it, but
Good
it was
movie.
weird.
Good movie starring Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. You may have heard of it as the movie where Daniel Radcliffe plays a corpse that Paul Dano rides like a jet ski powered by farts. And then they made this, and it's going to win
Nothing
like a
wrong with
million
that.
Oscars.
That was the only like other feature film that they had.
Yeah, one of the Daniels, Daniel Scheinert, also made a movie called The Death of Dick Long. But as Daniels, the collaboration, this is only their second feature film.
Interesting.
The thing that's probably most seen of theirs is the music video for Turn Down for What has over 1 billion views on YouTube. So
Oh, okay.
I saw you mention that in the Discord and I gave it a rewatch. Not a fan. I
Not a
thought it was
fan?
kind of stupid.
I mean,
some cast
think about the
overlap,
song
though.
concept.
Just a bunch of people thrusting their genitals for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
You sound like a dad, dude.
Yeah. Have you heard the song?
these kids are thrusting their genitals.
Just the word choice there was very. I didn't get it at all.
Thrusting their genitals.
Yeah. I'm one of the Tennessee governors who is protesting Elvis.
Yeah, exactly.
G Pain or C Pain, whatever his name is.
Why is he so hard?
One of
Was that
the
even T Pain?
No.
Oh my
Little
God.
John.
Edit that out, please.
But
It was
a
Robbie.
clueless dad wouldn't know.
Everybody's
Right?
I was
Robbie.
acting as Pat. Right. Yeah, exactly.
You would just assume T-Pain's in it.
Not only did he not know the artist, he didn't even know the name of the suspected artist. So,
Yeah,
that fits.
exactly.
That fits.
It's full dad, peak dad move. One of the actresses in that video is also in this movie as the woman in the scene of the movie that Evelyn's watching, both in, I guess, the prime timeline and also the hot dog fingers one, the movie that they're watching where there's like people dancing. Oh, yeah. She's in the Turn Down for What video also.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, let's talk about the plot of the movie. So, it's tax season for us right now too. So what a timely movie. I think going into it, having just watched the trailer, I didn't expect so much of the movie to take place at the IRS office. And I think it's a fun sort of juxtaposition that one of the versions of Evelyn, the kind of main one that we're sticking with for most of the movie, it doesn't leave the IRS building pretty much at all in the whole movie. Yeah.
Actually, in the
Except
whole
for the end.
Oh yeah, exactly. But outside of like the
Then
other,
the ending, she's back at the
multiverse.
IRS building too.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah,
the
that's a good
laundromat
point.
party? Is that the only time she leaves?
Laundromat party is happening while the main Evelyn is still in the IRS building.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
Evelyn. It's the version of Evelyn that went home to get the things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Huh. Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. I remember watching it with you guys the first time and being like, oh, I wonder when they're going to leave. And it's like, oh,
Never.
never. Just in that IRS building.
It's how it feels to do your taxes.
Just a normal sort of generic, anonymous seeming office building that they get a lot of mileage out of, a lot of action set pieces set there.
Yeah.
And cool stuff. But yeah, so I don't know. The movie, I guess something else we could say it's about millennials wanting their parents to apologize to them.
Yeah, I could see that theme.
Part of a whole new generation of movies like that. And that's sort of what happens. Early on, you see that she's not very nice to her daughters, played by Stephanie Hsu.
I'm trying to remember what the name. It's not Baba Yaga. I keep thinking Baba Yaga, but what's
Gong Gong?
no
Chewbacca?
Oh, Jobu Tupaki?
Jobo Tubaki.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jojo Tubaki.
Yeah.
I couldn't get the name right even at the end of the movie, so
Jojo.
Yeah, well, you hear the wrong version of it so many times because Evelyn mispronounces it a bunch
I'm
of times.
just as bad as her at trying
Yeah.
to decipher the name.
The version of Joy that is gone full everything everywhere with her brain splintering is Jobu Tupaki.
Joju Tapaki.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's Alpha Joy, right?
Yes, that's Joy from the Alpha verse.
Which is like the second main universe that we are exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
The Alpha universe.
Yeah.
And that's, the initial, I guess, break in the universe is when Alpha Waymond takes over the husband's body, pulls her into the janitor's closet in the IRS building and tells her to switch her shoes and a couple of other instructions, but basically triggering a rift in the universe in order for her to basically, he wants to see if she can transport between universes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He's been looking for the correct version of Evelyn. And so this is him thinking maybe it's her.
Yeah, and so he tests her when he meets her. He gives her something, and when she's initially meeting with like Jamie Lee Curtis, she like switches the shoes. I feel like I'm a little foggy on what happens after the switching the shoes out.
Well, yeah, she has she has to think about the closet, hold her breath, and hit the button. He gives her the headset.
Oh, that's
when they're in
right.
the elevator.
Yeah.
That elevator scene, by the way, is kind of you see on the security cameras at the laundromat that Waymond's like jumping around and doing acrobatics and stuff, but kind of the first time it's introducing you to sort of the really scattered kind of addled lightning speed stuff is in that elevator where she's seeing like her whole life flash before her eyes. That she sees the doctor give her to her father as a baby, and they say
That was hilarious.
it's a girl. We're sorry. And yeah, running but not getting her eyes out, going with Wayman to America, opening the laundromat, which they later repeat many times when they're talking about the different branching paths her life could have taken. They use sort of that montage as jumping off points if different things happened in each of those tiny scenes that happen while she's on the elevator. And yeah, then they are in the supply closet. There's a great moment where he's like, you have to save the world. And she's like, I'm really busy today.
I really like the person that played the IRS person.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. She crushed it.
Yeah, long career. This is her first Oscar nomination.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's wild.
And super long career. We covered it. I know we did Halloween. I'm trying to think if there's a different movie of hers we've done also, but Halloween at least. And now this.
Freaky Friday.
We did do Freaky Friday.
For some reason, that's the second movie that pops in my head that she's
It was
in.
her other Oscar nomination, I think.
Yeah, she was. But they didn't know if they should give it to Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
So there was like an eligibility issue. So like, no, they actually did a Freaky Friday.
Because that movie was a documentary.
So it's technically Lindsay Lohan acting in Jamie Lee Curtis's body.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, it gets
it's
complicated.
tough.
Yeah.
It does get complicated, but they did win Best Documentary, to your point.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was a good year.
It was a good year.
It was almost second to the Lizzie McGuire movie, but
Oh, also
got beat out.
phenomenal. Also phenomenal.
Yeah, Lindsay McGuire did win Best International Film, though, because it's from Italy.
Yeah, exactly.
as it should have.
Yes,
It
yes.
was a really strong year at the Oscars. It's too bad we weren't doing the viewing
Podcast.
party
I know.
or the podcast. Yeah. This is a true fact. My original idea for the podcast, I had actually two ideas. And it was either going to be this, which we're doing now, which turned out better, because the other idea was watching two movies about the same town or city or same like place. And then the podcast would be about that place and talking about like the two movies and how they use it differently.
Well, that would have been interesting too, in
Yeah.
a different way. I feel like you
Yeah.
would have ran out of
No, we would have
places pretty quick. Yeah,
And it would have been asking people to watch two movies per episode.
true. Yeah, no, it's
Which
a better
is,
route.
as it
Barely
turns
watched
out,
one.
I was going to say, as it turns out, it's pretty hard to get people to watch one.
Yeah.
And the first idea I had actually was to do an episode about Rome and to do La Dolce Vita, classic Italian film, and the Lizzie McGuire movie. Both have important scenes at the Trevi Fountain, etc.
Not like the Gladiator or something like that.
No. Okay. Specifically, La Dolce Vita.
I mean, we want to talk
Lizzie
about
McGuire
movies that were
movie.
good.
True. Yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, not good, great.
Well, yeah, comparatively,
yeah.
can't argue.
Gladiator doesn't.
Yeah, he's
hold
all
up
over
to Lizzie
Rome. He's
McGuire at
barely
all.
in the Coliseum. Lizzie McGuire got in there. Good point.
She was the real hero.
Her and that dude, the other
Gordon?
dude, Gordon.
Gordon.
It's Gordo.
Wait, is it
Gordo.
really Gordon?
Gordo.
Good. No, he's right. It's Gordo.
Gordo.
Oh,
Yeah.
I pulled that out of my ass.
Is that
I think I was
short for
right.
Gordon?
Miranda.
It's gotta be.
You can't shorten your name by one letter.
People do it.
Sure, you can. People call me Core.
Who calls you Core?
I'm just kidding.
You call him Ori, though.
Huh?
Ori.
Oh, Ori. Yeah.
Oh,
You
right.
shorten the other way.
Or cry.
You just take, it can take any letter out. Works the same.
Yeah, that's right. No.
Yeah, they do call me that.
But yeah, Jamie
I
Lee
took the
Curtis was
H
good.
out.
I agree with you, Corey. Jamie Lee Curtis is very good.
Thanks, Pat.
You're welcome.
I agree. I agree.
So
It
creepy.
was
Very creepy.
very creepy. Very Karen-y.
Yeah.
Not the face you would want to see if you went to an IRS building. Very
Or any building.
unwelcoming presence to her.
Yeah. The way she's like gulping down whatever that like milky beverage is.
Isn't it like a
Really unpleasant.
almond milk or something?
Yeah, it must be. And then pointing out to her
awards.
awards.
Oh God, yeah.
They were all butt plugs.
Yeah, that's a thing that this movie does, and it's sort of maximalist thing. It doesn't just sort of like make a joke about like, oh, those obviously look like butt plugs.
You're seeing it later.
Yeah, you're seeing it
In
go
action.
up someone's butt later. That's it doesn't I was gonna say half-ass, but I thought that maybe isn't the right term
It
for
does
this
kinda
particular example.
Half-ass.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't just make the kind of like nudge joke. It's going to be like, and then we're going to take that to its logical conclusion. Maybe not logical, but still. Yeah, so the way the verse jumping works is that you have to do something that is so bizarre that it sort of bounces your consciousness far enough to a different version of yourself. But she doesn't really know how to do that yet. And she goes back to, well, she's still there, but her consciousness goes back to the desk where they're talking to Jamie Lee Curtis. And she's like, okay, I'll give you till the end of the day. And they get up to leave. And she had seen in the other verse that Jamie Lee Curtis murdered her. And assuming that that's what this version is about to do, she punches her in the face. And that sets up the first real fight scene of the movie with Waymond and his family in his fanny pack.
Chapstick.
Awesome.
He eats the whole chapstick.
Eats the whole chapstick.
Oh, that right. That was his. Is there a word for that? Did they give one in the movie? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. I think there's a way they describe it that is
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's a trigger.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's right. That was the first one that he did. Yeah.
Yep.
That was such a cool scene with his fanny pack.
Oh, it was sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a scene like how I described Barry, where I was like, how are they getting out of this? Like, where does the movie go from here? Because I still didn't like fully understand that this was like a multiverse movie. And I was like, they're all just going to go to prison immediately. Right. And then what happens?
Yep.
They just assaulted a bunch of security guards.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
punched a random woman in the face.
Oh, the punching in the face was,
It's great.
it was great.
Felt good.
It was great. And, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis acted the exact way I feel like you would expect a Karen-like woman to act
Yeah.
if they
Very,
got
very
assaulted in
victim
public.
me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you, I guess, see Waymond demonstrating, Alpha Waymond, sorry. It's not that you turn into a different person, it's that you access the memories, knowledge, and skills of a different version of yourself, which he pulls back into this version to be really good at fighting. And yeah, this fight scene's great. Does a great job. I love all his tricks with his fanny pack.
Doesn't he load it up with like rocks from
an aquarium.
From an aquarium at one point.
Yep.
I remember that part.
I just like all the little motions he did with it, like making it very like kung fu esque. Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
adjust the strap and
Yeah. You see him like, wrapping around.
And the whole time he's in like a pair of New Balances and like dad
Yeah.
clothes.
It looks
and
like
stuff.
Pat,
As
you
a
know,
fellow
He looks like
dad,
Pat,
I
yeah.
obviously appreciated the scene.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Fanny pack is my weapon of choice as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
oh,
For sure. You don't have to so threateningly spin it above your head, though. We agree with you. It's okay.
Yeah. He's unarmed today, but
Yeah.
doesn't know about pants, but he's fanny packs. He knows.
And then that pretty much goes directly into.
Cory's next fun fact.
Yeah. Okay.
hit us.
Do you know what Waymond was told when he had to do 3 different personalities?
What do you mean?
Like how to do it?
Like, is it
He was told
actor?
to reference 3 different animals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like the actor?
Yeah,
Quan, yeah.
Like the acting
for
coach
the
told
different
him to do
personalities.
this?
Yeah, the acting coach.
What were the animals?
Dude, I told you, I know the facts, not the details.
Ben, what were the animals?
I heard him say something about this to me personally when I interviewed him. Yeah, I in an interview he mentioned this. I forget, but there were specific animals because obviously Waymond normal is kind of meeker. So
He's a beta.
yeah,
A beta fish.
he's kind of a beta. Ultimately, has his whole like humanist sort of be kind speech, and that's the version of Waymond that actually does convince Evelyn. But that's later in the movie to be good and stuff. Yeah, spoiler alert. And then they get arrested. Alpha Waymond obviously is a lot more confident and assured, and yeah. And then there's the Wong Kar-wai version of Waymond in the Evelyn as Kung Fu movie Superstar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he's just kind of suave and wearing a suit.
The next scene I like vividly remember after that scene was obviously Alpha Deandra.
Dr. Dre.
Deirdre. It's
Deirdre.
a normal name.
I can't ever say it. I don't know anyone with that name. Deirdre.
Deirdre.
You
got it.
Alpha Deirdre. When they're like they're running around. She's chasing them in the office and they're escaping her, and he has to do the paper cut trigger.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember that scene
That
too.
was
Awful.
That
That's
made me
like-
grimace for
that's like-
sure.
One
Yeah.
of the worst things to witness.
Yeah. And she's accessed professional wrestling. I like when they're like, oh, she's going for a backbreaker.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and he grabs the exit sign.
Yeah, and puts it on her. So it's very professional wrestling for a second there. It's great. But then, yeah, he gets behind the filing cabinet. So he tells Evelyn that she has to figure out how to do it. She puts on the headset. And the options that they give her, the only one that seems doable at the moment is to tell Deirdre that she loves her.
But she has to really mean it.
Right.
And really mean it.
Stipulation.
You say the name with such confidence. I'm so jealous.
This is what I do for a hobby. So not a living.
I found out the animals.
Yeah,
Give it to us.
good.
The body movement coach would read the script and pick specific animals. For Waymond, it was a squirrel, which that's funny. It kind of makes
okay.
sense. For Alpha Waymond, it was the eagle. And CEO Waymond, it was a fox. He said he would
Okay.
spend countless hours on YouTube just watching these animals, how they move, how they fly, how they eat, all of that.
He must have been stoned.
Oh, well, yeah. You're not going to sit there and watch a fox for 3 hours and be sober.
Actors are weirdos, though. This is like, if that was your job and you're like, okay, I guess I'll
true.
clock in and watch 3 hours of foxes on YouTube today.
Yeah, I would do that sober.
Yeah. Good point.
Not only that, but he's paying the coach to tell him to do that. So it's not even like it's his job. He's just doing it for his job.
That's what I'm going to do tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, got to go. I'm going to go watch
3 hours
hours
of
of
foxes.
maybe squirrels. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to mix them all in so you get each version.
Well, yeah.
You got to really trust the
Alpha Cory.
the trainer too or the person giving him the
Yeah.
education to be
fucking-
like,
it
yeah,
worked.
that makes sense. Yeah, clearly.
Crushed it.
Yeah.
That is a technique in like acting school, and especially like because
okay.
they, actors, and if they go to school for acting, they have to do movement classes, and a lot of that is
was
act
his
like an
movement coach,
animal.
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. It's professionally trained people. They can be all kinds of animals. Any actor that you think is cool is actually a huge nerd that pretends to be bacon on the floor or whatever.
Wait till you see my bacon.
Yeah, it's like sizzle, sizzle.
It's hot,
like-
hot bacon.
Yeah, they've all done it.
Spicy.
What part were we on?
So it's when Evelyn's trying to access the version of her that is a kung fu superstar,
Yes.
and she's ending up in the kind of not that version. And I like that it's just like a simple low, whatever the low tech, I guess, thing that the headset just goes yellow if it doesn't have a good connection instead of green.
Gets the point.
You can still do it, but it's not going to be the outcome you want. And the Alpha Waymond is like, you're clearly not the Evelyn I want. So she pops away, and then it's just normal Waymond. And she and him eventually start going down the stairwell. And that's when Jamie Lee Curtis jumps at them, and it's the slow motion thing of her in the air. And she finally gets the kung fu version of herself to work. There's a brief montage of that version of her that as a little kid was like not as a little kid, when she decided not to go to America with Waymond, and then is like attacked or almost attacked in an alleyway, but some kung fu master saves her and trains her, and she becomes a movie star. That part's cool. And that's the meta bit where it's the backdrop of the Crazy Rich Asians red carpet, and yeah.
Which could be a reference to like our world as
Yeah.
one of the universes.
True. Yeah.
And this is
So they use real scenes. Pat looks really confused.
No, well, I thought that I remembered during that flashback, or I read something that said that there were scenes that resembled scenes from Kill Bill during the kung fu training. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's familiar to
And
you.
another movie.
in Kill Bill Volume 2, there's her flashbacks to the bride's training, and it's with not a woman like it is in this, but it's a man who I think is wearing similar things, but it's similar kind of training montages.
It's like having her walk up a big thing of stairs with like the water
It's like
jet.
a similar looking kung fu master person.
Eventually, not this time, but eventually they go back and they do like the pinky fighting stuff. And that's kind of like how Uma Thurman had to do the like 1 inch away on the breaking the board
the coffin thing.
Yeah, the coffin thing. Same thing. She has a flashback remembering how to punch through a board that's only 1 inch away from her fist. And then she actually like comes back to the present and does it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a ripoff. Yeah. Not just of The Matrix and all these other things, but also Kill Bill.
Quiet down.
If it wasn't for The Matrix, we would have never gotten this movie.
That's very true.
That's what the Daniels were like. The Matrix, watching the Matrix movies inspired us to keep going.
Makes sense. They're all in their 30s, so they would have been 13 or so when this hit. Not that we're not, but I mean, they're, I think, like 36 and 35. So they would have been, like the perfect age when The Matrix came out to like make that your whole life, probably.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
And
because it is real life.
Yeah. Yeah. Or is it?
Check out the Matrix episode to find out.
Yeah. All of the,
nice.
we did
the
all
link
4
below.
Matrix movies.
Oh, we
Maybe.
did.
I don't know if there'll be
Very
links.
ambitious episode.
Yeah. We didn't do the Animatrix though. That's next.
Yet.
That's next year. Anyway, back on track. Evelyn does the kung fu stuff, comes back. They fight a little bit. Jamie Lee Curtis's head goes through the wall. And then there's, I think one of the better jokes in the movie, which also, like all the best lines in this movie, combines not just humor, but also this sort of like emotional thing where she tells Wayman that like, I saw what my life would be like without you and it was beautiful. And she's just caught up in like, oh, you should have seen it. It was so cool. And he's just like, what a horrible thing to say.
He's such a nice squirrel too.
Yeah. And he's just like breaking. And then they're like, oh, we're talking about the divorce or whatever. And then he switches back to Alpha Wayman. He's like, clearly you are the right one.
It had to have been so confusing for him to just like black out for long periods of time and wake up in these strange situations.
Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
This is when Alpha Wayman is eating all the dairy because they don't have cows anymore in their worlds.
Oh yeah, he takes a big thing of cream cheese, right, and puts it on the bagel. Yeah, that's right.
But I believe this is when he actually is describing what happened in their world because she's like, stop, no more clay pots, no more, just tell me what's actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
He says, you in the Alpha verse, you're dead now, but you were the leader of this like scientific outreach where we discovered the other verses. Yeah. All that stuff happens. There's I think a really nice moment where he's like, okay, we're going to try to blend in. They go out into the hallway and they're like, oh my God, what's going on?
Oh, yep.
Funny. Good jokes. We liked it.
This movie's so hard to sequentially.
I know.
We're doing
Describe.
okay.
I haven't seen it. In so
I'm
long,
like
too,
trying to
so-
think. I'm like, well, did
It
this
is
part
tough
happen?
that you haven't watched it for a year.
Yes. Yes.
I don't feel like you're going to get all the tiny details.
I know. I feel foggy from like a week ago. I can
As you're
imagine years
bringing
ago.
stuff
Like
up.
I said, I did just watch a bunch of videos about everything everywhere
Yeah,
all at
that's
once.
fine.
Yeah.
We can breeze through the plot and then get more to the analysis stuff because I feel like that's more what we want to talk about.
Well, because the movie itself, even if I watched it yesterday, it's just so like intentionally hectic. that-
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Like,
Yeah.
So technically, nothing happened before anything else because the title of the movie says it's all at once.
Yep. You're not wrong.
So I'm actually right.
That string theory that everything is happening at the same time, all possibilities. So nothing's before or after.
Were you here when we spent like 2 hours and like
Watching
one of them?
cats? Yeah.
Oh no, it was right after the cats thing. Actually,
okay.
it was that same night. Oh, that's right, you left. We
Yeah, I
watched
had to
like
go
string
home.
theory videos and stuff for
nice.
like an hour and a half.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We accidentally watched Cats. I was like, I don't remember the music being this terrifying. And it turns out all the audio was replaced with the Suspiria soundtrack.
Yeah, you want to have a
Don't
weird
watch that
time,
video.
just turn off all the lights and watch cats clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you're sober, it's terrifying.
So Evelyn then lets her mind drift back to the Kung Fu universe. She sees
Like us in the podcast.
the CEO version of Wayman.
That's the best part because obviously it calls back to that joke, and he's like, "Joke's on you. His life was way better too."
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I don't know if he even thought of that, but yeah, he's like
I actually didn't think about that
a
either.
fully self-possessed dude. He's fine.
Oh yeah, no, he's obviously
He's obviously still hung up on her, but like his life is he's got stuff going
he's
on.
way more successful
Yes.
professionally.
He's substantially more successful.
He's in a tux.
But so is she. It's not
Hey,
like
he
she's
looks
a loser.
handsome as hell.
He does.
does.
Knows how to
Yeah.
wear his hair.
He's
too.
suave.
He almost got me.
He gets his hair correct. Yeah. And this is while her mind's there in the prime, I'm just going to use D&D terms, with the prime material plane, they are being arrested. When she comes to, that's when they're being arrested in that hallway with the security guards, and that's when Joba Tabaki
Attacks him with a dildo.
attacks. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That was an amazing scene.
Yeah.
So
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
I wanted to get to that sequence.
Like the whole sequence.
This is where Stephanie Hsu, she did get nominated at last night's Oscars for supporting actress, but she hasn't really won anything in the lead up. So
She was really
She's
good.
so
I think she might have
fucking
gotten like overshadowed definitely by the other two. Their
Yeah.
or the other three, I guess, if you include Jamie Lee.
I
their
guess Jamie Lee
performances.
Curtis actually won stuff, but I feel like she's better in this movie.
She was so
Obviously,
good.
more into the story.
Yeah.
I can't remember. A while ago, I watched an interview with her,
Yeah.
like around when the movie came out, and they were like talking about the interview and like how she, or not the interview, what was it called?
Audition?
Audition,
Mhm.
and like how she went about the audition. It was a good story, and I just can't remember. Like she was just like so weird that they were like, yeah.
Yeah, you can actually watch her audition tape online. Or maybe it's like an early table read or something, but it's really cool. You can watch it, and she's basically got the performance down, which I guess is what they're looking for when you're trying to hire someone. Like, oh, the person who can already
Oh,
do
you're
it.
weird enough for this.
Yeah.
Just be you.
You don't even have to watch a cat video
Yeah.
for 2
And,
hours.
she does the like everything
Everywhere.
swept into a bagel or whatever, and then they're like, "Oh, try it singing," and that's the version she does in the movie where she kind of sings that last bit.
I gotta find that video.
Yeah, it's cool. Look for it. I'll put a link to it in the description, maybe if I remember to when I'm editing it and I hear this part.
And if you forget, you can email.
You can email Noah at
You
latetothemovies@gmail.com.
Do it up.
Do it. So this bit's cool. It's when she's just sort of like messing with the security guards, makes one's head kind of just disappear into confetti. One gets the sort of the Carmen Miranda fruit head dress thing, and she dances with him and stuff
Oh, yeah.
while the other guy shoots him. It's a good sequence. She
There's so
Does the-
much that happens in those 30 seconds.
yeah, there's a lot of costume changes. She grabs the gun and like sucks up all the gas and turns it into bubbles or whatever.
She must have had to change, like,
Or
go
just
for a change,
Likes
like,
to be smoke.
what, 20 times, 30 times?
Yeah, it must have been hard to film, right? Because every few
yeah.
seconds there's a huge costume change.
Her costumes were incredible, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anything,
Those are
was this nominated for, like, best costume?
It's 11 nominations. If you're listening to this, you can check exactly what it won. And I have a chart. I was going to say there was something that made me feel like, oh, how come it didn't get nominated? And yeah, it was that. It did not get nominated
Did
for
not?
costumes.
What did? Do you know off the top of your head?
Oh, I don't have that with me. I think
Wait, I have
you,
it.
you just know
like
a lot of stuff.
Babylon's
I just
in
figured.
there. It's either in there or
I know, it's
makeup or
fine.
something.
On IMDb, it says Oscar nominee for Best Achievement in Costume Design.
Oh, you know what?
Oh,
I was just looking for costumes, not costume design.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yes.
is there another one
It's
for
in
costume?
Oh, yeah. Are they separate
No.
categories?
No,
Oh, okay.
my brain's just bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Well, they should be nominated because it was awesome.
Weird to do it right in the middle of the plot, but just so we all have it: picture, director, actress, supporting actress, original screenplay, original score, original song, costume design, film editing.
Wow. I didn't know it got original song and original score.
The thing I was like, oh, come on, that it didn't get was visual effects.
I mean,
that's
there were some
pretty
really
sick.
good visual effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, and it didn't get nominated for that.
Although, yeah,
neither
did
that's
no.
a tough one because there's like,
It would have lost to insert here whatever won last night, but either Avatar or Top Gun or I don't know what
yeah,
else. Is
how
there?
are you going to top
Elvis? Who
Avatar?
knows?
Yeah.
Like
True.
True.
visually, that was
True. So this part's cool. She's like in the wrestling getup. She like pile drivers the guy and breaks his neck and stuff.
It's cool, and it's the first time we get to see, goddamn, Alpha Joy with
Jojo
Evelyn.
Tabaki.
What's the name again?
The two of them meeting up.
Jojo
Yes.
Tobaki?
Jojo Tapaki.
Jobu Tapaki.
I'm gonna have to say Alpha Joy.
I said it wrong.
Alpha Joy's fine.
You
No,
hear me
no,
say
no.
Deidre.
Her name
I
is
can't
Jojo.
say that confidently.
I'm just gonna say Alpha Joy. I'm gonna keep butchering
Alpha
it.
Joy's fine.
Yeah.
We all
AJ.
know what we mean.
Yeah.
Jobu Tapaki's here, and she does the thing with the hands.
Oh yes.
And then
Yep.
she like opens it and they see the everything bagel.
Oh, that's right. The vagina thing.
Oh yeah. I wasn't sure if they're intentionally doing that.
yeah, every theater I've seen it with, someone's laughed when that happens.
Because I was like, this is what people did to me like after CCD in church. They were like, look, it looks like a vagina. And I was like, I'm 9. I don't know what that looks like. But what?
You're just like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I've seen a lot of those.
yeah. Again, there's no hint. It's just like, yeah, here's a
Looks a lot
stupid thing we
different
can
from
throw
mine,
in.
but whatever.
Kind of looks like pants.
It's all in there. But yeah, this is where Alpha Joy explains the everything bagel at least a little bit. And she does the sucked into a bagel and then the blah sounds, etc. And my hopes and dreams, all my report cards, Poppy, salt, whatever. Cool. I like the everything bagel. I think it's a cool bagel. I don't know.
That's what
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
a
was
great
little
idea.
weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
don't
but
like
I feel
it?
it fits
Yeah,
in.
I
It fits
don't
in the
know.
Put everything
strangeness
on
of
a
the
bagel.
film.
It works, but I'm just like, I don't know. Why a bagel?
Says everything.
It's an everything bagel.
Yeah, there's got to
Yeah,
be
there's
more
a part
to it.
that like I think your mileage
With all
will
the
vary
themes
with
in this movie,
like,
there's got to
kind
be
of
like something deeper.
the millennial sense of humor that some people have derisively called the epic bacon sense of humor. I feel like the everything bagel's sort of a part of that. You know,
Bacon's not funny either.
not anymore.
No,
but
I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
It wasn't funny in 2010. I've seen those criticisms of the movie. I would say I disagree. And I don't know. I feel like I don't really like to laugh at TV or movies very often. And I feel like I laughed a good amount at this.
You're a dad now. You're just watching Ken Burns jazz.
There's a no humor.
You're watching documentaries about baseball.
I mean, that is very Pat.
About the Chicago Black Sox of
Yeah.
1929.
They got railroaded. You won't stop talking about Shoeless Joe.
Every time we hang out, he brings them up.
But to me, the everything bagel, it was more just like, and this is my interpretation, just symbolism for depression and suicide and like her
Nihilism, just
aren't
nothing
that
matters.
her wanting to like
I'm just kidding.
go into the bagel.
Yeah.
Alpha Joy is
Yeah.
to me, the way I interpreted it was again like just succumbing to depression, which would
Yeah.
mean like a completed suicide or something like that. And I think that obviously the prime joy, that's what we're calling the dimension that we open up with, is a depressed teenager.
Yeah.
And I think that it's Alpha Joy's way of communicating to prime Evelyn that this is what could potentially happen to your daughter if stuff doesn't change.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the end, that she was like going to the bagel to actually do it, and that's like when she realized, oh shit, like I don't want my daughter to die.
Yeah. And at this point, Evelyn doesn't think of them as the same person, Joe Badabaki and Joy. She's just like, oh, there's like this evil spirit inside Joy that's like trying to take her over or possess her. And she doesn't realize till later, like, no, that's the same person.
You just don't know your daughter.
Right. Yeah.
Just
Exactly.
teenage angst, just
Yeah.
blown out of control.
Isn't she like as part of like the plot too in the Alpha thing? She's used as like an experimentation. Her
Yeah.
daughter in this
To
whole thing,
hop
and
to
she
the different universes.
Because she had so much potential for verse jumping, but that Alpha Evelyn pushed her too far.
right,
And it just kind of like fractured her brain, and now she's doing the everything everywhere
okay.
She's
brain
all of
surfing.
the places that all of the people is one at once.
Mm-hmm. She's string theorying.
Yeah. Her mind is a string.
Yeah. So everything bagel, black hole, It's the opposite of a googly eye, which
want
represents like
everything Google
kindness
right
and
now.
stuff. So Evelyn is saved by Gong Gong, but Alpha Gong Gong in his superpowered electric wheelchair.
Oh yeah, that's the grandfather.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, played by James Hong, the great James Hong. Big Trouble in Little China. The guy he's in like an episode of Seinfeld.
You definitely seen him before.
He's been in movies since the 50s. He has over like 100 film credits.
Seriously?
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him.
I didn't know him either.
He gave a great speech at the SAG Awards, Screen Actors Guild, and their version of Best Picture is Best Ensemble. And this one, it actually broke a record for how many awards it won because it won Best Ensemble and it won 3 of the 4 acting categories at the SAG Awards. And James Hong,
Did he win an award?
technically, if you have an individual card credits
Yeah.
in the credits of your movie as an actor, then you are a nominee for Best Ensemble if your movie's nominated.
Oh, I was like, why did he give a speech? I feel like I would've
So
given him
technically they all won for Best Ensemble, but they just they fucking called an ISO for him and he took the mic and did like 5 straight minutes. And it's great. And he was talking about like the first movie he worked on and how white people had their eyes taped up to play Asians because like the producer didn't think Asians could lead a movie, and now look at us and stuff like that. And it's really cool if you can seek it out. He's not nominated at the Oscars, so he won't have the opportunity to speak.
They
Last
just cut
night,
him
I
off
don't know.
anyway.
They would, yeah. The other thing about the SAG Awards is that it wasn't on TV. It was just live streamed on YouTube. So they let the speeches go as long as they wanted because they didn't have any commercials, which better product, no
Yeah.
doubt. And if you watch on YouTube now, you can skip if it's a boring speech, but that one's not. Anyway,
Is that like the more respected like award ceremony amongst like actual like actors and stuff?
apparently to some of them, they say it means more to them because it's just their peers. It's just actors
That
voting
makes
on
sense.
them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whereas for the Oscar, it's everyone's voting.
Mhm.
But maybe they just say that if they don't win the Oscar afterwards. Who knows?
Oscars suck.
Yeah, no one even likes those, right? He saves her. They go to that room where they're like barricading the door and he's trying to explain what's going on. Alpha Gong Gong is trying to explain to Evelyn what's going on. Like, you have to kill your daughter.
This is
Just
one of my
the-
favorite fight scenes.
Yes.
Is
So
this also the Rakakuni scene?
this leads to...
Okay.
Yeah. Eventually, it's normal Waymond again. He lets in normal Joy, who doesn't know why she's there, and she's in like her golf getup. And she comes in, and Evelyn tapes her to the chair and starts trying to explain. It's like that movie where the guy can't cook, but then the raccoon gets on his head, and it's Rakakuni. And they're like, "Do you mean Ratatouille?" She's like, "No, you're just making up words again. It's Rakakuni." One of the best setup punchlines, I think, like of any movie this year when they later go to the Rakakuni universe.
Oh, it was so funny.
That was fantastic.
But yeah, this leads into the fight scene where where Evelyn accesses the version of her that is a maid in this building, and the guy whose office this is has like a secret S&M sex lair behind his desk,
As
right.
one does.
as one does.
Right.
So she knows the combination, or there's like a secret button or something to get in there. When it's not even Joe Batsubaki's people, it's under Alpha Gong Gong, who's like the remaining leader, I guess, since Alpha Evelyn died. They don't really explain this part, and they don't have to, so we probably shouldn't either. But he sends Alpha versions of just random people in the area.
All the security from that initial fanny pack fight
Yeah.
scene are pretty much involved, and a couple of other people.
Yes. So technically, it's the Alphaverse people and Joe Batsubaki trying to fight Evelyn at this point. As much as she thinks, it turns out Joe Tabaki's not actually trying to fight her. Whatever. They go into there. They start trying to gas the place up. She has to use like the feather spinning thing. She like puts it against her face. And that's weird enough to get her blind singing powers, where she gets increased lung capacity.
That's right. Okay.
Yep.
And she goes out, and there's that great fight scene where she's also accessing the sign twirling, where
Yeah,
she
I
steals
love that,
she steals like the riot shields from the
Oh,
guy
Yep.
to do the twirling stuff, and that's a great scene.
Yeah.
You don't see her face too much. I don't know how much of that is Michelle Yeoh, but obviously she's someone who throughout her career has done a lot of her own stunts.
That must have been someone else, like that shield thing. I feel like that's a very like specialized skill.
Yeah, that's a specialized skill. I also feel like that part, especially, they're not showing her face, so I'm just kind of assuming. But you know, I don't want to cast aspersions. It's a really cool scene, and it's a good fight scene. Then she steals the gas masks and like throws them back in the room, and then when they come out, everyone else is just on the ground. She's just like doing badass stuff. She's starting to believe, as Morpheus would say.
She took the right pill.
Yes, she did. And then what happens after that?
The butt plug scene is very close to that.
Oh yeah, now she's just doing fighting stuff.
And those two guys are YouTube.
Makes sense.
They do YouTube videos for like martial arts. Like I said, I know the
Martial arts.
Don't ask him to
Yeah.
follow
Oh,
us.
that's cool.
Just accept
details
the
I don't
fun
do.
fact.
I have the fun fact.
Just accept it.
And I mean, I missed, probably my fault. The before Alpha Gong Gong comes and before she even gets shown the everything bagel,
Dress killer.
there's she tries to access like another fighting thing against Joba Tupaki, but goes to the hot dog fingers world for the first time.
Oh, that's agreed.
One of the best scenes in the movie, just out of like pure weirdness.
It's another one that your mileage may vary for, and one of the things that some people I think would cite if they're an Academy member that's old and doesn't want to vote for this movie.
It makes you feel a lot of different feelings at the same time.
The scene where the
Very
gorillas are
conflicting.
fighting the gorilla with the
They do the 2001 thing where they all have the hot dog fingers celebrating.
That's right.
That was so good.
Yeah, that shit's great.
I thought it was great. I like the
Oh,
hot
it's
dog
fantastic.
fingers universe.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, and that first time it like throws you right into it too, because she's watching the movie that she was watching at the laundromat.
All right, that was a little
The
much.
actors like
the
spraying
fingers and-
mustard
yeah.
and ketchup into each other's faces.
Yeah,
Oh, that's where you drew the line.
that is right. As a dad,
All right.
This is inappropriate.
Was that the same universe that her and Deirdre were like together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
she later realizes. Yeah.
That's right.
She's
Because
together
she was
with
like using her feet to play the piano and like caressing her with her foot.
gross.
Yeah.
That's really gross.
I don't like feet. So
That's
yeah.
Same.
Not a fan.
I like that more than the mustard and the ketchup spray.
No,
Not for me.
Nope. I'll take hot dogs, ketchup, mustard all day over old gross feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, this is where
Nah. You can go either way.
this because she's watching the movie and Deirdre comes up behind her and she's like, "Oh, isn't it just like so lovely?" And she's
Oh,
like,
right,
"Get
right.
away from me!"
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
She's like, why are you being like this? Anyway, yeah. So we're forward. There's the scene where it's the YouTube guys are fighting her, and they eventually realize that they need to first jump, and they really want to get that award up their butts.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause that's the way to jump.
But yeah, this fight scene's cool because it's actually like good fight scene.
Trying to look up the name of those guys.
When
It's the best fight scene. Is that kind of concludes the first act, right? If I remember correctly.
almost, we're almost there, or at least the way that it breaks it up into the three parts.
Yeah, obviously the third act is like 10 minutes.
Yeah, if that really. But yeah, so I know I keep saying and then not actually transitioning. That fight scene's cool. Good stuff.
It was a great scene.
Yeah. And then there's like a little
Brian and Andy Lee.
Those are the YouTubers.
Yep.
I don't know. The
Shout out.
Lee brothers.
Shout out Libros.
So then this leads to the bigger fight scene where she's in it's like a planter in the atrium of this office building.
Mm-hmm.
And she fights off the other versions of the normal people that have come. And then she's trying to like stand up to Joba Tupaki, but it's when her brain like kind of fractures, and it has the fake credits scene after she seemingly dies.
Oh, yep.
That also happens right after Joba Tupaki locates Alpha Waymond and kills him, and he like dies in her arms, kind of in Evelyn's arms.
Oh, yeah.
But then it just switches back to normal Waymond, and she's disappointed. But then she's like trying to do it. She throws up a lot because she's trying to access too much. And then the fake credits scene. Did it get you guys?
Yeah.
I think at the time it did. Yeah.
It got me
Yeah.
for sure.
Definitely not just because I was at home and I saw I saw the right time
you can
on the bottom.
move your mouse and it's like it's still we're halfway done here. Oh well, that's okay. That's fair. Seeing it in theaters though, the way
it got me. I was like, huh.
Yeah. That was kind of like, oh, that's sort of a brutal way to end the movie.
Yeah.
But then that's when it sort of zooms out and you see that it's just Kung Fu Evelyn watching a movie that is like her watching real her in the other whatever. You guys remember, you all saw the movie.
Yeah.
Hopefully you too, listener. If you,
I think that was also a reference to. There's like a bunch of references to Paprika, the
sure,
animated film,
yeah,
and I think that was one of them.
that's when she starts talking to CEO Waymans. She kind of like runs out into the alley at this point. They don't do like the laundry and taxes speech yet. That comes later, but it's just like them out in the alley. And she pops back up in the real world. Something happens here, right?
Oh God, I know. I feel like I should have had bullet points of just an outline of the plot.
She's bouncing around. Jobu, Joy, meets up with her and is like, I don't actually want to fight you. Let's like talk this shit out. And they sit on the couch and then they start going through all the universes and whatnot
I love the rock scene.
or something.
Oh yeah, it was great.
The rock was like that scene was such a like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, that must have been
Unique
at that
and-
point.
Yeah, and I'm going to apologize, but yeah, either happens next or in like the very white looking world where she's brought to the bagel. Those are kind of happening around the same time, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the White World was first.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that
Yeah, I'm
happens
pretty
after
sure.
that. Yeah.
But all there is to say about that is she gets brought to the bagel. And we'll just say somewhere around here is the rocks.
I mean,
And
nobody else is going to know the order of the movie either.
it's fine. I really did just watch this, but yeah, it's tough. The rock scene, yeah, that's another thing that is like interesting. Seeing it in a movie theater where it's just like silent all of a sudden was really cool.
We keep like talking about different scenes, and in my head, I'm like, oh, that was one of my favorite scenes. But then by the time we got to the rock scene, I'm like, okay, now I don't know. I just like the whole movie.
Yeah. There's so much like unique points in it and scenes.
That was the best part. Yeah, it was very unique.
Yeah.
It wasn't cliche, really.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know at what point she accesses the version of her that's the hibachi chef. That the first time it happens is during the fight scene out in the cubicles, but later on is when she actually sees Rakakuni.
Right.
That's maybe around here too, just to throw it in. We haven't forgotten that.
Yeah.
Bunch
One of my
random
favorite
shit
jokes.
happens around now.
Rakakuni, voiced by the great Randy Newman.
Yep.
You've Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story, and as well as a lot of other songs.
Interesting.
That's why he keeps saying "You got a friend in me." I don't know. It's a stupid joke. Sorry.
It's
And I don't
true.
even have kids.
That was one of my fun facts, but he stole it.
fuck.
Dolan.
I'll cut it out. Do you want to put it?
No,
Of course, say it.
I don't even remember his name. Randy Newman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
it.
got it.
Fun fact.
So Jobu is pretty much successfully convincing Evelyn of her viewpoint. And Evelyn, you start seeing her in all these different versions, also acting pretty nihilistically and kind of just like ruining whatever relationship she has in the other
Yeah, she
universes.
just sucks everywhere.
Yeah, it's either like she's the hot dog finger version of her is like convincing the version of Deirdre that's her significant other to move out, or she's like making Waymond really sad, or her daughter. Yeah, just nothing matters anymore.
Her narking on the Rakakuni guy and
Narking on the Rakakuni guy, Harry Shum Jr. for you Glee fans out there.
Yeah.
He has his own credit, so he also just won a SAG award for Best Ensemble.
nice.
Even though I don't think he has that many lines. He's in the final fight too.
Does
but
he even
most-
talk?
He goes Rakakuni.
He says something.
Gets taken away by like animal control or something,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And then they that like, oh man, that scene where she's on his shoulders just
Yeah. Once
Yeah.
things turn
Oh, that
around,
was
yeah.
Yeah, once things turn around. But yeah, so this is all good. Yeah, it is just a million things happening now. We didn't even mention Jenny Slate with her dog. but whatever.
Oh yeah, she was good too.
Is that the big nose person?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everything. So the issue with recapping, not necessarily with watching the movie, because it makes sense, but the issue with speaking in like this is what happened in order is because it's pretty liberally switching between all the different versions of Evelyn's universe that it's set up. And that's also why I think it takes a little bit too long to end, because every beat has to happen across all the universes. The nihilistic streak in Evelyn takes over, and you see her ruining her relationships in all those universes. Then you have to see her repairing all her relationships later, and then everything concluding in all of those universes too. But anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff happening here. It's one of those times where I just be like, yeah, just watch the movie. It's fine. The rocks are cool.
Yeah, The Rock. Yeah, it's hard to like really explain everything that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was.
I mean, it's in the title. Everything happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sometimes
you gotta see it.
30 different cuts in 1 minute, but
what brings her back is at least a couple versions of Waymond explaining to a couple versions of Evelyn kind of his
Waymond's the go.
thing. It's
True.
primarily the one in the IRS who's actually giving the speech about just be kind. I don't know what's happening most of the time, but I do know like you just got to be kind. The CEO version of Waymond that is the much not even memed, but just copied in a different world. I would have loved just doing laundry and taxes with you. And the version of Evelyn and Waymond that went home to do their taxes is convincing Deirdre not to arrest Evelyn. And I think all those are happening around the same time.
Yeah.
And she's watching, like, she's finding her kind of like her own will to live again and to believe that not everything means nothing by watching Waymond in these different, iterations. And then it's pretty much into like the final fight, I think.
I think we bounced around a lot, but I think
I think pretty much.
So did the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's like, okay, we're going to do it Waymond's way. And Joy's like, Evelyn, bagel. And she sees the bagel again, this time in the IRS building. And then it like transfers onto the sort of second level of the atrium.
Oh, I forgot that is the same building.
Yeah.
That's just downstairs. Wow.
Yeah.
Daniel Kwan gets sucked into it. And then all the other alpha characters are there to fight her because they're all trying to let Jobu Tabaki go into the bagel like she wants to. Evelyn's trying to stop her, but she has to fight through all the alpha people to do so.
Kill him with kindness.
She puts the googly eye in the middle of her forehead, and yeah, she kills them with kindness. She finds what makes all of them sad and makes them happy.
Yeah.
She
But
sprays
in, like,
the
a
guy's
fighting
perfume
style,
on
which
the
was cool.
guy. In a fighting way. She jumps on Harry Shum's Jr.'s shoulders and like pulls his hair.
Oh, yep. To
'Cause he
catch
just-
up to-
Yeah. Because he just wants to be Rakakuni'd, I guess, is what he really wants.
Same, man.
That's all I want in
that's his
life.
kink.
That's her in the IRS. While this is happening, the other versions of her, one's like connecting with Deirdre outside of the laundromat.
Yep.
Her and Harry Shum Jr. are chasing after the animal control
Yep.
with Rakakuni.
Don't they share a vape too?
Yes, the outside laundromat they
yeah.
share. She shows her how to use a vape.
Oh,
Yeah, that was great. It was like I feel like that was the first sign of her like budging.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, because she's like, he told me about your situation. Like, we didn't even mention.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the divorce.
Oh, that's a big thing.
Waymond's got divorce papers. A lot happens in this movie, as we've said in the title. Also, everything gets resolved.
Oh,
The hot dog
also
fingers
the-
versions of them like
Yeah.
reconcile.
Start. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we didn't mention anything about the whole Joy's girlfriend.
We didn't mention Joy's girlfriend.
That was a huge piece
That
of
was
it
a
too.
huge piece of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And how the grandfather wouldn't accept. Well, they thought the grandfather wouldn't accept.
Yeah, he turns out to be pretty chill.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, have you ever talked to him? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think he just got so old that it's like
You just assume.
you just know everything.
Yeah, and her and Evelyn and Gong Gong obviously didn't have a great relationship, so she's just assuming he's going to be disapproving, I guess.
She confronts him too about like how we reacted towards her as a child and her decisions and all that stuff too.
And this
Everybody
is,
should probably, do.
True.
this is all good stuff.
A lot of life lessons.
It's when she's changing everyone. She's, one guy she's spanking and stuff, and now he's happy.
Oh, the BDSM guy. Yeah, right.
Daniel Scheinert, the other director.
Right.
And she gets up. She's almost there to like grab Joy and pull her away from the bagel, but then Gong Gong in his mech wheelchair,
That's cool too.
Awesome.
like is holding her back. And that's when they have like a moment where she's like, "Why? Like, how could you just let me go? Like, how could you do that?" And then he lets her go. And then it's like another fight between her and Jobu where they're going universe to universe.
Oh yeah, that was cool too. Where they have one where it's like the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon style, like they're in a forest or something.
Yeah.
Right, that's that part. Yeah.
Didn't it get like wild where there's like cartoon?
Yeah, there's cartoon
Ones.
versions. Like,
Yeah,
that might
it
have been
was-
the first
Which is
time.
good.
I don't
Like,
know.
that
It
was,
this
I like
time.
that they did that because it's like truly like a different
Yeah, it is.
dimension
Universe,
in a sense.
dimension.
Whole
yeah.
different medium. Yeah,
Yeah.
The Fae.
they're in the Feywild.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then ultimately she does pull her back as the version that went back to the laundromat for the party is talking to Joy in the parking lot about wherever, they're both doing the everything everywhere thing. But she's like, wherever I wanted to be, even though it's shitty here, I'd want to be with you here, just doing
And they say
boring
nothing
shit.
Matters.
Yeah, because nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Yep.
Except love and kindness and all that good shit.
Well, no, nothing.
You're still bagel more than googly eye, you think?
No, I'm a lover, man.
Okay. So you're
I love
googly
you.
eye then. Okay. You don't get kung fu powers. I don't believe you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's the essential end of the plot. She saves her. They're like, okay, we're gonna be cool now. They go back to the IRS sometime later, and yeah, part 3 all at once or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing better.
Yeah.
The end scene has the daughter with them,
Mhm.
has Joy with them at the IRS, which they're obviously implying that the family is healed.
Yes, they're on the same page now. They'll probably have work, and if they remember, if her and Joy both remember all of everything that happened, they really should go to therapy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's
That should have been the
best
final
Yeah.
scene.
Right.
Just a cut scene to them in therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So themes and stuff.
But
We're
also,
done with the narrative.
just the movie ending.
yeah.
It shows like, oh, everything's good, the family's healed, they're happy, but America still sucks, and you have to do your taxes.
Yeah. You still have to do your tag. You're still being audited,
Yeah. Yeah.
even though the auditor likes you now.
Yeah.
To be fair,
She
it
still
did,
kinda
it
sucks.
did seem like they were committing fraud. She was just charging
Yeah.
things to the business that
Okay, Pat.
were completely illegal.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Okay.
Pat.
Inappropriate.
Oh.
You have to file
didn't know you
your
were a
correct
narc.
tax forms. Pat's such a narc now.
Yeah. What a cop. Let's just end it there. I don't even want to talk to this man anymore.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
Can't be in the same room as this guy. He's going to call the cops on us.
Which theme?
Well, do you have any other fun facts that we didn't get to yet? I want to make sure there's fun facts time.
True.
Nah, that's all I got.
So what's up with all the multiverse movies? We had Spider-Verse, you had Spider-Man No Way Home. This Multiverse of Madness came out almost at the same, just a
What
few
is
months
that?
later.
All the
Multiverse of
connected
Madness.
movies, though.
Sorry?
Like the Spider-Man. Oh, actually, no. Those are two very different movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, like what is it that's going on like culturally that we're thinking?
I didn't even really notice the trend.
I didn't notice either. I'm sure that all those movies are very successful that you just mentioned. Granted, most of them are superhero movies, which are just successful no matter what the plot is.
This kind of is too. This is produced by the Russo brothers who, made the Avengers last couple movies.
True.
But I'm not sure if there is a larger trend or if we're just reaching here, but I am curious what you guys think about what this movie specifically has to say about what it feels like to be on the internet, because that's sort of the angle that the Daniels were coming from. Sorry, that Daniels were coming at this from, the sort of maximalist feeling of scrolling through a timeline and seeing the worst thing ever and then like a cat video back to back and stuff.
Oh.
And the sort of mental whiplash.
Originally, they thought about making it like making Evelyn have ADHD and it being about like that. But then they were like, oh, it could be offensive to like people that do have ADHD and like
probably
everybody's
smart to
ADHD is
hold
different. I thought it would have been fine.
It probably would have been fine. But I feel like they don't need to
It
put
could make
so
sense.
much of
Like,
a
you
fine
watch the
point on
movie
it.
and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
this connects.
Yeah. It is what I feel like, sometimes, and if you look at, the everything bagel and Joy and just feeling like you want everything to just stop.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that.
I was going to say, I think everyone feels
That's
that to
life.
some
Yeah,
extent.
that's understandable.
But you know what? Nothing matters. I'm going to reply to my first email tomorrow at work and I'm going to say, nothing matters.
Put all the work assignments you didn't do, suck them into a bagel.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just going to skip work tomorrow and go get a bagel.
There you go.
I think that
That's going to take all day. Right?
I think that for Joy, like she's obviously the age of the character is very appropriate because I think a lot of the negative side effects of, having access to everything through the internet are really felt more by teenagers than 30-year-old dudes. Like I feel like I'm my personal life, I feel like I landed more in the end part of the movie and see that, having access to all of this stuff is a great benefit. And I wouldn't really want to live in any other generation. I think that we're very lucky to live in the time we live in. But I think as a teenager, the amount of negativity through the news that you get online, as well as just comparing yourself to the best day of everyone's life all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Can be incredibly depressing and probably make you start to feel like Joy. And that's aside from the issue she has with her sexuality and not being accepted by her parents.
And
that's coming from a trained professional.
Right. True. Yeah. That's totally right on. And I know you're a dad now, so everyone seems young, but Stephanie Hsu, who plays Joy, she is 32. You keep calling her a teenager.
Could have fooled him.
Pretty sure she's supposed to be like an adult child that has this poor relationship with her parents.
I thought she was like 18, to be honest.
Wait, in the movie,
age.
she's 32?
I think she's supposed to be like an adult.
she was
Oh,
like
I didn't
I
know
thought she
that.
was like in
I knew in
college.
real life she was 30 something,
Yeah.
but
I thought she
At
was
least
like
in
fresh out of
college,
college or
Yeah.
around that age or something.
But I think one thing, so and Daniels, they're in their mid to late 30s, but I think it's so right that we at least can remember dial up. We can remember choosing not to be on the internet, even though maybe we wanted to. Maybe it wasn't so much of a choice. But people who are teenagers today, like that was never an option for them. They basically have to be online all the time, taking in all this stuff, I'm sure it's,
that's like my little brother. He grew up with a computer.
Yeah, it can't be good, right? It's not. I think that's probably provable.
Mental health statistics would indicate that the rates of anxiety and depression are like literally 10 times what they were 25 years ago.
And I think it's what you said. This is, for so much of the movie, Evelyn is like, wow, this is the worst version of me. Every other version of me is having a better time than I am. Mm-hmm. Like you said, everyone else is living their best day ever at all times.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody's posting on Instagram like
I felt shitty today and I didn't do anything.
I guess I could have just taken a picture of my work desk and been like, yeah,
This is what I'm doing
this is
today.
what I do every day.
Yeah.
Just that's like a thing I picked up on that wasn't necessarily apparent to me at first when I was just trying to keep up with the freaking movie. It was moving a million miles an hour. Then you're like, oh, that feels a lot like being online or just alive and aware of the news.
This is a movie that I feel like you definitely need to watch twice,
At least.
Probably, yeah.
like to fully appreciate it.
Yeah.
I would say that I needed to watch it more recently than a week ago to recap it appropriately. I still feel like we left out some.
You did a good job. Don't worry about it.
No. I'm talking about that early recap. I mean, like,
I feel like
just
I remember
the
more than
last
Pat.
hour.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
We should have watched it while we were doing the podcast.
And then the other thing I mentioned before is just this thing that, like, the same thing that happened in a few movies, and I should have written them down so it doesn't sound like I'm making it up. At least Turning Red, similar. Just millennials wanting their parents to apologize to them for fucking them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is probably like head of that particular class, but more and more as people in their 30s and even 20s and younger now are making movies that's like an emerging theme, seemingly.
Yeah, because people thought therapy was weird. And now they're like, oh, wait.
They're discovering all these
this to
things,
be like
all their
normal people.
trauma.
Yeah.
There's also like apparently like a theme of toxic masculinity within the movie with Alpha Raymond, where like there's the whole theme of the normal Waymond being considered like beta in a sense compared to the alpha.
Yeah,
and
they're
then,
really
like,
calling the other one alpha.
yeah, and that's like one of the things that helps her like realize that life isn't so bad, because she thinks he's like this awesome person, but literally as soon as like Alpha Waymond thought she was like a little useless, he was like, yeah, you're not the right one. Never mind, see ya.
Yeah.
And just dumps her.
And then it's the versions of Waymond that are not that guy are the ones that actually convince her that life is worth it.
Yeah. And she realizes the importance of that over like, oh, this guy's cool.
Yeah, exactly. I do like when Alpha Waymond tells her that she has the highest potential of any Evelyn because she's the biggest loser of all of them.
Yeah.
Because you haven't done anything, or what do you say?
You've made every wrong choice.
Yeah.
Imagine hearing that.
Yeah. Funny movie. It's got some good jokes. But yeah. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we get to like ratings and closing this shit out?
I think just the concept behind the movie is something, I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I feel like a lot of people think about just decisions they've made in their lives. For example, like I went to UMass Dartmouth for college. If I didn't go there, like I knew Cory beforehand, but he was like a distant friend. I probably wouldn't see him now. I'd have a completely different friend group. This is when I was 6, so I didn't have a big part of this decision, but like my parents moved to Mattapoisett. Like I would have literally known none of the people I went to high school with. Like my jobs I've accepted, just like random chance things like that. I feel like you always think about like, if I just took this other opportunity, what would my life look like?
Absolutely.
And I think that the movie obviously does that's a core concept of the movie is these different pathways that open up when you're making decisions. And it's just super interesting. I think it's something that, the butterfly effect, where how much can these small decisions impact the world? And I think about it all the time. It's just like a random shower thought,
Yeah. And ultimately the version of Evelyn that made all the wrong choices is like the Neo style
That's
one.
all of us. Everyone at this table.
Yeah, exactly. It's all of us. And she's the one that like finds the most meaning and happiness just in her life that she gets to live. Which is it's a nice
That's
message.
beautiful.
It's a good
It's
message.
beautiful.
Yeah, on that we should get into ratings. First off, I'm giving myself 5 stars for never mentioning once that I went to the same college as the Daniels.
Whoa.
I went to
wow.
Emerson.
Oh, interesting. Those must be the budget versions because they're Daniels.
Yeah, I can't. It's really hard to say that grammatically.
Yeah, I know.
And it's fine for me because they were a few years ahead of me, but they were my sister's year. So while I have like 3 years to make a movie that gets nominated for 11 Oscars, her time's up.
True.
Loser.
Because she was the
You still
same year
got
as Daniel
time.
Kwan. Yeah.
I wonder if there's a universe where your sister and him team up and make a movie together.
Probably, yeah. It's actually kind of weird because Daniels meet at Emerson. One's from Westboro, Mass. One's from Alabama. And my sister's best friend from college is from Alabama, and they met at the school.
Are both of their names Daniel?
No, they're not. But so that is where the comparison ends. And I said that to her, and she didn't find it that interesting either. But to me, it was like, whoa,
Crazy.
it's crazy that happened to 2 people at almost the same exact years at this same place. But she didn't think it was that interesting, and I doubt the listeners will either. But hey, it's in. It's not getting cut. That's pretty much it, though.
All right, good job, Ben. But you did end up saying it at the end anyway. So
I got 5 stars for the first hour and a half. The rest is all gravy. Every week we take our ratings that we get from this section of the podcast, and I'll put them on our Letterboxd. That's Late to the Movies on Letterboxd. I think it's the number 2. It's really hard to search Letterboxd, but if you try hard, I'm sure you'll find it. Anyway, you each can give this a rating on a scale of 0.5 to 5, you have to go by halves. It can be any scale of your choosing besides stars. There's a lot of different objects and concepts in this one. So if you need a sec to think about it, go for it. I don't know what mine is yet either.
5 hot dog fingers out of 5.
Ooh,
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That one's off the table now.
5 digits. 5 out of 5 everything bagels.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Right? Those are two of the big ones.
That was a sleeper.
I wasn't prepared for this. I'm very on the spot.
Just so everybody knows, Pat looks visibly like stressed right
Stress.
Yeah, he's being very genuine. He seems quite.
now. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say something stupid. I'll give it 5. No. You can cut out all this, right?
No, you have to.
Ooh, I
What is it?
usually do, but now that you asked.
This is the good
Now that I'm
stuff.
just
This is the
struggling.
good
Say
stuff.
the one that you were
Yeah.
going to say. Now I'm curious.
No, it wasn't good.
It was gonna be
Dude, every
googly
time I
eyes.
do it, it's not good. That was the first one that I felt like, it was pretty good.
Yeah, you guys have set too high a bar. Is the problem? Pat should have
Yeah.
gone first.
Far out, that is true.
I got
That
it,
is
I got it.
true.
5 multiverses out of 5 multiverses.
That's
I
a good
like
one.
it. I like it.
I wouldn't have thought of that one too. That was
Yeah.
good.
I'm not going to top for Tar. I did 5 stars, and I'm never going to top that. But I think we talked about the Halloween costume, so it's got to be 5 Rakakunis out of 5.
Yeah, that's a good
Very
one.
nice.
Yeah, right.
I was gonna say washing machines. That's
Oh, that's
terrible.
good.
No,
No,
that's
that was
terrible.
dumb. That would have been dumb.
great.
That's
Yeah, that would've been
terrible.
good.
Nope, you're both lying. That's stupid.
We would have stood up and applauded.
washing machines. How
It
original.
worked at a
You son of a
it's part of
bitch.
the movie.
We hate you now.
5 cars out of 5. Well, there was cars in the movie.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't use that one, Pat.
Thank you.
Wait, was that the first perfect score?
No, but it's one of the very few.
What are the other ones?
Off the top of my head, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
I haven't actually put them all on
Did we
Letterboxd.
all
So there
get
hasn't been
5
one
for
recently.
Spirited Away?
We weren't doing ratings yet.
Oh,
I feel like we would have.
yeah,
You know?
probably.
There's a few that we weren't doing ratings yet. We didn't do ratings for the first 6 months of the podcast, and we recovered a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, true.
No, we didn't do it for The Shining, but that would have been 5 for me. I can't speak for anyone else. Thanks for being on, Cory, Noah, Pat.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Great
Ben.
movie.
Yeah, good times. I love this movie, and hopefully it had a good night last night because the people involved seemed nice.
I hope it wins.
Yeah,
Some of the other candidates, I would be really upset if they won over this.
like what? It'd be funny if it's what wins and you say it on this podcast.
I would be upset if All Quiet in the Western Front won, Elvis won,
Yeah, same.
Top Gun.
I
Sorry,
wouldn't be as upset.
you like Top Gun.
Yeah.
Did you see Top Gun?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No, I kind of want to see it though.
Top Gun is great.
Yeah, I'm
The
kind of
problem is
upset.
I
didn't
don't
it
want
in
to see
theaters.
it, but everybody keeps talking about it, and I'm like, ah.
We're good on the podcast. Thanks again for being on, and we'll catch you next time. Hooray for bagels or whatever. I don't know. I didn't have an ending bit. I have no bookends for this episode. I'm
What's the best cream cheese for an everything bagel?
Sun-dried tomatoes.
Original.
I think
Just regular.
sour cream and
Original.
onion or
Original.
chive or whatever.
You can't do that. Everything's ready on the bagel. How are you going to add more?
Garlic? Is that an option?
Oh my god, I don't know.
I would
Garlic
love
and cream
God,
cheese.
garlic cream cheese sounds amazing.
Doesn't
Yeah, it does.
All right. We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
All right.
End.
I'm gonna-